Father Matthew from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, was given the abbot's blessing to let us into the inner sanctum. Once inside, there was still another hidden door.
Behind the curtain?
We walked into the world of Byzantium. It was hard to imagine that everything here was at least 600 years old.
Wow.
Because the brilliance had not faded. There are almost 4,000 icons stored in this monastery alone.
Wow. Damn. Look at that. That's what I'm saying. Like, all you prots, right? All you people are like, iconography. Oh my gosh, this is idolatry. Like, you're not only denying history, but you're denying yourself such a rich part of the tradition of Christianity. Like, such a beautiful, rich, necessary part of maintaining the thing that you feed off of and then deny. You know what I mean? It's sad to watch. Because everyone, you know, all these like people, these, it's not to say that every single person who's heterodox has this ick feeling about orthodoxy. It's usually Catholicism, to be honest. But even if they don't, they really are missing a great aspect, a beautiful aspect of the preservation of the faith. In fact, they think that icons are merely pictures or paintings. That's how they view them. They're like, oh, it's a picture, it's a painting. No, it's written. You know, it maintains. You can actually convey the feast days and the practice and what's important, like a type of clock. Things of, you know, like going through iconoclasm, right? Where people with a similar proclivity to destruction of the faith, of authority. I mean, think how many were burned. Think how many were destroyed.
The highlight? A 14th century icon of Christ.
Bibles, yeah, even the term icon, people don't realize, like, how that, through the view of what the term icon is, you understand so much more, like a deeper level of participation from that view. And it doesn't even make sense anyway. People are like, oh, you can't have an image of this or that, and you're like, what do you think the Bible is made of, by the way? Do you think those little symbols and letters that convey meaning, that are written down and preserved over time, you think those aren't images? I don't understand.
Every monk will tell you the sole purpose of life on Mount Athos.
I heart Seamus, it's beautiful but not necessary. Well, is the Bible necessary, I heart Seamus? I mean, here comes I heart Seamus. It's just old pieces of art. No, it's not art, dude. What are you talking about? You don't even know what you're critiquing, I heart Seamus. It's just old pieces of art? Really? Okay. Is the Bible just a piece of art? Is Scripture a piece of art? I mean, what are you talking about, dude? It's so pathetic. Necessary for what? Well, obviously, it could be very necessary. If you didn't have the Bible, look, it's really simple. I heart Seamus. If you didn't have the Bible, if suddenly people burned all the Bibles, right? And there was iconography left over that was written to convey the practice of Christianity, it would suddenly be necessary, right? Speaking of necessary, pay your tolls. It's necessary. $5 from Yosh, paying the toll. Thank you for that. Almost halfway there. Little bit behind, you guys. An hour, more than halfway through, not even halfway to the goal. Pay your taxes. Bunch of freeloaders.
Get closer to Christ every day. And they say total union with Christ is only possible when they leave this world.
Πρώτο πράγμα που κάνει ένας μοναχός είναι να αγαπήσει το θάνατο.
The first thing a monk does is...
Please stop explaining to the idiots about it. It's true. It's like you quickly become the fool. Vasilis, I agree with you.
Embrace and love death.
Embrace and love death.
Γιατί ο θάνατος
Because death is the ticket to the other life. Without a ticket, you can't travel.
Where do you get the ticket?
εδώ στη ζωή αυτή.
In this life, that's what we do each day. We prepare for death,
Για το ταξίδι μας προς τον ουρανό.
and we are joyful about our journey to heaven.
Right. Father Matthew offered to take us to the transit point between this world and heaven.
Rachel says, it's not just art. Icons are written because they teach the theology. Yeah, they precede even the scripture, which is funny because I Heart Seamus relies not only on the tradition of icons and scripture, which is preserved by the same faith, by the same church, I Heart Seamus, so ignorant and prideful. He doesn't understand that you were to be interacting with things like icons before you had access to some of the texts, right? Every prot is just post-Gutenberg luxury. They're basically like feminists, but for Christianity. You know, the feminist relies on societies built by men, upheld by men, defended by men, right? And then they get to a point of luxury where they're like, we don't need men. Well, Protestants, people like I Heart Seamus, they are the feminists of theology, which precedes feminism. They are the feminists. They're the rejectors of the faith. They're rejectors of the authority, like feminists. It's a very feminist view. Bunch of men acting like ladies.
When a monk dies, he's buried until there's nothing left but bones. Then he's brought to where every monk who's ever lived here ends up, the ossuary.
That's another thing about Orthodoxy. They're not disgusted by death or humans in their form, skulls, things like this. This is like also another modern, finicky, very feminine view of humans. Is like, oh, it's icky, yucky, ew, relics. Oh my gosh, why are you guys looking at some Christian's hair? Why? It's all just very feminine. You're like, grow up. What is wrong with you? iHeart says, let's say somehow everything gets burned and destroyed. How can we then get to God? The preservation of, what do you mean? Dude, way to prove the holy tradition. If everything gets burned and destroyed, what you get is the authority of oral and practical tradition. Guess what, iHeart Seamus? If everything was destroyed and we still had our priests, and we still had our parish, we didn't even have a church, a building. Guess who would be still collectively, I Heart Seamus, doing the divine liturgy without any of those things? The Orthodox would be. You wouldn't. You don't even know what you're doing, I Heart Seamus. You don't even have a tradition you can teach your children. That's what's so sad about it. You know what I mean? That's what's so sad about it. You have no holy tradition. You have nothing that you could pass down in the absence of you reading your own Bible in the dark alone. That's all you have. You would have nothing. In the absence of those items, absence of a Bible, absence of whatever else you do, you would have nothing. You would actually probably scurry quite quickly to Orthodox who were conducting a divine liturgy in the woods with an altar made of a stone. You'd be like, where's Christianity? I don't have anything. Where is it?
Any idea how many skulls there are here?
Thousands. I'm not sure how many thousands.
Any idea how far they go back?
The ones here would be to the 16th century.
When you look at the ossuary, what comes to mind?
Mostly I see that this is where I'm going to be. I always like to say these are my future roommates.
There was nowhere for us to go from there. So we headed back to the mainland. The monks invited us to come back any time. And if we do, or if our grandsons or great-grandsons do, after 10 days here, this much we believe. Mount Athos will not have changed at all.